Hey guys, welcome to another episode. We are getting very close to the end of this game now. So first, let's just jump straight into it. Last episode, we created this overlay canvas here, and this was to handle all our buttons that are going to pop up and our score that's going to pop up at the end of the game. So what we did is in the game over, if we go to the play collide script, in the game over method, you can see here, coroutine, you can see here that we just set the canvas overlay to set active to true, turned off the hearts, we added some changed the text to whatever, how many tokens we collected, and turn off the play move and then waited for seconds. So that's all good, but then nothing happens. We can't reload the level or anything like that because we commented out this line of code. But we don't want it to just wait for 1 second and then comment out the code. We want to give that ability to the player to click the button whenever he or she feels like restarting the game. So we can do that quite easily. We can just, under this void here, just keep all the methods in the same spot, just code, making the code pretty. We're just going to create a public void. We're going to call this reload scene. And in reload scene, we are just going to cut that and paste it here, just for now. If you're looking at this in the future, this might have been changed, and we're going to deal with that in a few minutes. Just bear with me. But so if we click this, if this runs, then it's just going to reload the main scene. So to do that, in our logo, you'll see here we've got our button. Now we can actually just drag, we can actually press the plus button here, which means on click, and if we just drag over our player, and we can just actually access all of the things that are on that player. We can access the box colliders, the player move script, the player collide script, and we want to go to the player collide script, and we want to go down to reload scene, which is that public method that we created before. Public. So if we just had void reload scene, it wouldn't work, but you have to write public for it to be accessed inside the inspector. And so yeah, so now when we click the play button, it should hopefully do application.load load level main. So let's give that a spin. I'll just quickly make sure that's all fine, and we press play. Super Keegan, game starts, we die, and then we can wait for as long as we want, but if we press that button, it reloads the level. So that's what we want. That's exactly how we want the game to run. Cool. So that is now done. That was as simple as that to create the button to work, and it works on touch devices and everything. So hey, good for us. And also we can get rid of this update up here. We don't need that in the play collide script at this stage anymore. But what we're going to do is we're going to Unity has updated with 5.3. They've updated how scenes are loaded. So I think if we go back to Unity and we, oh no, it's gone away. Oh, it's a bunch of different areas here, but here it says unityengine.application.loadLevel string is obsolete. Use scene manager.load scene. So to do that, we're just going to add a new namespace. So using Unity engine dot scene management, and then we can, instead of saying application.loadLevel, well, let's actually just go underneath this and go scene manager dot load scene and just write main. So if we then get rid of this, it's exactly the same thing. Basically, it's just the new API that Unity is using. So press play. Testing. Alright, and it loads the scene. Cool, that's exactly what we want. But just as a failsafe, we want to go into our game initialize script, and in void awake, it might just be a good idea to say time.timescale equals 1.0f. Just in case for some reason it jumps back over. I'm not sure, I don't think it will, but just in case it jumps over from the previous game. Okay, cool. Alright, next thing, obviously, we want our score to, like our high score maybe, to appear at the bottom here. I think that'll be a really good idea. So to do that, we're going to create a... Well, actually, first, let's adjust the canvas, because right now, the canvas kind of just sits there like that. Doesn't really make much sense. That's just this random box. So we're actually going to... actually, let's turn off the menu, just so we can see what we're doing. And go to our canvas and just bring that there. I'm just going to make it basically as wide as the camera, because that's what we're dealing with. So a height of 10, and that's close enough for me. And that's close enough for me. Sometimes that just bugs out there. Another reason why I just like to use normal game objects. Okay. So now we've sorted that out. You notice the score has actually moved down. So we can actually click on this, press Option to make it pivot from the top. Actually, we could probably make it pivot from the top is fine, and Option Shift. Okay, so it's pivoting from the top, and then all we need to do is we can just raise this height to a height that we like, maybe 2 is a good amount. Press play, and when you scale it doesn't change. Let's make sure to check all this. Maximize on play, doesn't change. Alright, that's exactly what we want. The only other problem is we want it to start in the middle, that's what we want. We want it to wrap and truncate, I suppose that's okay. Make it best fit, and we'll make the minimum size 1 and maximum size 40, and it doesn't need to be a raycast. So if we go like 999999999999999, our score can get incredibly high and it'll still be okay. But realistically, probably people are only going to get to about there, maybe there. I don't know. Well, actually, no, it's pretty much impossible to get to there, but we'll see. Well, you never know. There are some good gamers out there. Let's bring in the sides a little bit, just to there, and just to there. Let's choose a number that we like. Let's say 14, and let's just test that out. 9999999. Cool. So that works out fine for our high score. Nothing's going to go wrong there. Cool. All right. Well, that's that little thing sorted. But we want to add. I think it'll be a good idea to add a high score down the bottom here. And what I mean by that is have some text down the bottom that just says high score and just has the player's high score. So hang on. Let's turn back the menu. Turn on the menu so we get the feel for what we're going for. So in the menu section of the game, like when the game loads up, it'll have the high score written down here, and if you click on it, it'll actually say the total amount of tokens that we have collected, which I think would be a really cool little feature to have, and most people actually won't know it's there until they touch it, so that'll be a cool little thing. So to do that, first things last, we need to create another thing on this canvas, a UI text. And we're first of all just going to drop it down to the bottom by holding Shift and Option, and then let's give it a width of say 17 and a height of say 1.5. I don't know. Let's say 1.75. Okay, we probably need it to be a bit smaller, so 0.5 to 0.5. And the reason we're making it a little bit smaller on the scale, which you shouldn't normally do, is because we've got such a small amount of space to work with, and we're working in world space here, so it makes a bit of a difference. So if we just write high score, and then we can change it to white, and actually we'll just call this bottom menu text. Cool. We then want to make it obviously a best fit and make it 1 to 40. That's fine. Center, center. And it's actually behind our section here, and that is because it's behind our floor, and that is because in our canvas we have it set to background, which we don't. Well, we do actually want that because we want our font to be in our score to be in the background. But for just testing purposes, let's just make it in default and set it to 11111. Doesn't matter, just as long as it's definitely in the front. And let's turn off score because that just makes it absolutely horrible. And let's change the font to joystick, and then reduce it down. Okay. I like something like that. Now, obviously, guys, you just need to fiddle around with things yourself, see what you like, what you don't like. And it's a good idea to have it extend out a fair bit, especially if we're doing total tokens collected, because we don't want it to run out of room. Okay. And one last thing that I think just makes it not feel so cluttered is just drop the opacity down to like half. I think that makes it feel a little bit better. And let's just add a button. Okay, so let's just test that out. Let's press play. Okay, now the button is clickable. Now we just need to write the code for it. So, go back to our game initialize script, and we can just create a new public game object. What do we call it? Menu bottom text. And then we can create another public. Actually, this one can be private. Private bool show score. Cool. Let's just say is score showing. That's better. And then let's create a method just under update here. Let's create a public void public void swap bottom menu text. Cool, and then we say if is score showing equals true, else do this. So if score showing equals true, then we want to say is score showing, let's type that in, equals false. and same thing down here. It's true. And then we just need to write, where was that code that we had? Play collide. Copy that in the game over method, the text one, and we don't actually have it in here. So first we need to write in game initialize. We need to write using system.ui. No, actually, sorry, it's using Unity engine.ui. Cool. And then we can just drop that in there. Oh man, why does it go to the top? It's so annoying. Actually going to drop this underneath. And back to the top. So annoying. And for this we can just say bottom, menu bottom text. Get component text equals token selected, blah, 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 blah. So what we need to do is we need to say, so for now we'll just say text equals, so is score showing equals true. Then we want to make it total tokens collected equals a billion. That's just placeholder text. And same down here. And then we want to change it to high score equals 1 million, billion, trillion, zillion, gazillion. Okay, so that should toggle that off and on, and let's see that working. Alright, so we want to go to the scripts, and we want to make sure our menu bottom text is sent over, and we want to also make sure that the menu bottom text we drag across the press plus button, drag across the scripts, and we can choose, obviously, like we went over before, we can choose game initialize, swap bottom menu text, and now it'll run that method. So if we press play, if we touch it, yay, it swaps back and forth the entire time. And that's cool, and that's what we want. Awesome, but the problem is we actually don't load or save any of our actual data. So here's where we get our data management script out that we wrote a few episodes ago, and we actually start to do some coolness with that. So let's open up data management script, and you'll see here we got our public int tokens high score. Well, we want to create another one, and it's public int total collected tokens, and then the same down here in game data we want to put total collected tokens there, and we want to copy this and copy the same method, data dot total collected tokens equals total collected tokens, and same here, total collected tokens equals data dot total collected tokens. Okay, cool. So that means, so then all we need to do is whenever we want to save or load, we just need to call that method. So inside game initialize, one of the first things we want to do is write data management dot load data. Oops. There we go. And so what that does is just loads the data. So if we go back to data management, what it does is if the file exists, if the file doesn't exist, it doesn't do anything. But if the file does exist, then it loads that data. So it actually gets, okay, what's the high score? And loads the high score. Okay, what's the tokens? The total collected tokens. It loads the total collected tokens. So now that we've loaded it, that's fantastic. Everything's working great. but we also want to make it so inside of player collide in game over we save it. So what we want to do, one of the first things we want to do is say data management dot save data. Cool, and you'll recognize this. It's basically the same script as I used in my last tutorial. So a lot of you should still know what's going on there. Okay, so when we game over, it saves the data, and when we load, it loads the data. But inside our game initialize script, down in swap menu text, we actually want to write total tokens collected space, and then we can write plus data management dot total collected tokens dot toString, and that should work. And the same for here. We'll just copy this. High score equals high score equals plus data management dot high tokens high score dot toString. Okay, so there could be some errors. It's not something I do all the time, so let's just give that a whirl and see how it works out. Okay, let's give it a go. Press play, and we've got an exception straight away. Okay, let's check this out. Object reference not set to an instance of the object. So it's struggling to load data. Okay, I know what's going on here. Okay, so first of all, we need to write in awake. Right now, it doesn't actually exist. Like the script isn't on anything, and it needs to be on something. And also, we need to reference this as this script, so like this game object. So we can just say in awake, we can just say data management equals this. And then we can also say don't destroy on load game object. So that means when we reload the level, this game object won't be destroyed. If we then go back to, we can put it on the scripts folder, scripts game object here, but that means that this whole game object won't be destroyed, and I think that might cause some problems. So we're going to create a new game object, and we're going to call this dash data. I'm just going to call it dash data dash. And that will be where all our data for the game is kept, and put it at 000, add the data management script, and that should work, except we want to go over to the there's lots of stuff I missed out. You want to go over to the player collide script, and just under tokens plus, we actually want to say data management dot tokens collected tokens plus, and then also in the game over method, we want to create a simple if statement that just says if tokens is greater than data management dot tokens high score. Well, then obviously the tokens is the new high score, so we can say data management dot tokens high score equals tokens. Fantastic. So that can do all our saving, loading, and things like that. And let me just test this this out. Okay, let's just press play. And you'll see straight away it's loaded our total collected tokens. That might not be the same for you because I did a little bit of testing, but if we play the game, collect a token, it's going up by 1, which is what we want. Get hit, tokens collected equals 5. So now our tokens high score equals 5. And if we press that button again, when we click on this, high score equals 5, total tokens collected equals 34. And we can click back and forth, which is great. Get out of the game, like shut the game down, press play, and 5 is loaded and 34 is loaded. Awesome. So the only problem is when we load it, it starts off at 0 because it only changes when we call this swap method, which we don't want. So inside of game initialize, when we actually want to say high score equals data. We basically want to copy this line of code and put it in start, and also put begs to wonder why we have start and update awake, but I'm sure I've gone over that or made the decision for some reason in the past, but I can't remember right now. Anyway, that's fine just there. And we should probably set no, that should be fine. Cool. So go back to Unity, when we press play, it'll say high score equals 5, and when we press start, cool. And now we just need to make sure it disappears when it's supposed to. So we can just, bottom menu text is already referenced, so we can just say where's our game start game. Is this where all, yep, so speech. Next to our set active here, we can say main, bottom, menu bottom text dot set active equals false. Alright, now let's give it a spin. High score equals 5, if we click it, it goes to 34. I just noticed an error there. We can probably turn quick and dirty ways, just turning this bool to equals false, because obviously it's setting it to something, and then yeah. Okay, let's set it to true. Oops. There we go, that works better. So, start the game. Straight away it says high score equals 5 and total tokens collected equals 34 if we click that. If we don't click that, we press Super Keegan, it loads this. And as we're playing the game, our coins get collected and everyone is happy and the world is happy and everything is great. Awesome, guys. Well, that is that large chunk of the last part, really, the core parts of. You can basically put this in the App Store right now and it would be totally fine. But obviously we need to do some neatening up, so we can continue to do that now. Actually, when I look at the time, it looks like we are out of time. So I will see you next video instead of neatening up now. And next video, we will jump straight into adding Game Center functionality. Ooh, this is so exciting. Alright guys, peace out.